Deepak Chopra featured heavily in the Epstein files. Thanks. Yeah, there goes all that. All right, Deepak had some weird stuff. Actually, if you listen to Deepak, if you over the years, early Deepak made a lot more sense than later Deepak when he started blending in and continued to morph his quantum physics and, the observation of the quantum particle and blah, blah. It's like, come on, this is not spiritual anymore. He's just off the deep end saying stuff like Jordan Peterson. I got a few things that make sense here. Then we just launch off with this loquacious verbosity that make people that don't understand, which is the masses, go, oh my God, this guy is intelligent. I can't even figure out what he's talking about. Meanwhile, they're just yanking your chain. All right, Deepak went that way. However, do we negate the teaching? We got a problem. We got to figure this out. My name is Dan Paulson. Welcome to the channel. First of all, let me say that I am 67 now, but in my life, I have just really focused on and been obsessed over trying to understand the spiritual world. What is life about? And there's no religion, even though I was raised in Christianity, I quickly left that behind. There was no religion that I said I'm going to dedicate myself to this belief right here. Mine was a mind that I want to understand. Help me interact with it. If you just tell me to do this and believe it, and that's what I'm supposed to do, I'm kind of done here. I have to go somewhere else where I can interact with it. I can't do that. Just shut up, sit down, faith-based. When you die, it'll be fixed. I don't work that way, and brains that don't work that way can't do that. All right, so the job that I had, I was working isolated, was remote, years actually. And what I would do is in my vehicle while I'm traveling to these remote sites, it might be an 8, 9, 10-hour drive, and the first thing you do when you get nearby is you get a motel room, and the next day you drive up to the mountain and go do your work or something, but you're out there all the time, and I would just listen to CDs, listening to everything from Deepak to the Teaching Company, Bart Ehrman, all kinds of material. Look at this. This is scary. Creating Affluence, Deepak Chopra. Secrets of Enlightenment, Deepak Chopra. The Happiness Prescription, 2 CD set, Deepak Chopra. Why is God Laughing? Deepak. The Third Jesus, Deepak. Reinventing the Body, Resurrecting the Soul, Deepak. Jesus, Deepak. The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, Deepak. The Book of Secrets, Deepak. I'm not going to burn these. I'm not going to get rid of them because of what has come to light about Deepak. And the reason is because I can listen to these and I understand that they are knowledge that doesn't come from Deepak. It's not him. This is something that's coming from other places. It's his opinion. It's his ideas or something like that. At no point in time do I find anything in here that is really baloney, even though his delivery is the way that his delivery is. I could take a book from a Christian who's not interpreting Jesus, who is telling you to get on your knees and pray and do all that kind of stuff, and I would say that book is not accurate. That book is not interpreting. Deepak doesn't do that. He doesn't invent his own things. Later on, he began to decay very much. As this stuff came out, as he became more popular, he began to, and the quantum physics came out, it became a part of the cultural language, and this idea that what you observe is what happens, that all hooked into this whole big rabbit hole where it just went off the deep end. And yeah, there's a point where you listen to him and go, God, what the hell is he even saying? What were words? How did we say it in the past? If you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit. It's really just, it's saying things that okay, now, this is what's important. There's going to be people who say, that's it, I'm not going to listen to Deepak anymore. Everything he said is wrong. You got to understand something. What are you doing? Are you looking to worship a person or looking to worship information? You don't worship information. We're looking to understand information and to interact with life and the reality of life, how it works, understanding through observation and then reacting and changing our thinking and changing our reactions and observing the results. That's how we actually learn for ourselves. People like this are simply teachers that are pointing, here's what was told from people of old. Here's what was told from people of old. And they're putting it in their own lingo. Sadly, I may have paid for one of his trips to Epstein Island with that pile of stuff. Here we are. What do you do? I have 10 times this amount in Teaching Company material on global religions, all kinds of stuff that I have just studied, books that I use for reference. If you follow my channel, you know what I'm about. I found how it all links together. And that's by understanding that you don't follow a teacher. You're looking for the knowledge. You follow the knowledge. You follow the trail. When you're doing stuff like this, you're absorbing, you're learning, you're early on. You're picking up the things in life that if it had been 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, thousands of years ago, people in the community of those who understood the teaching would have observed you and said, you've got that kind of a mind. We're going to bring you into it. That never happened. We're now in society where people have lost touch with all of that. We're looking for ourselves. There's something from antiquity that we're looking for. There's a teaching that we're supposed to follow. And that's what we're actually looking for. That is our master, the teaching, the knowledge, what we can interact with. No individual at any point in time. The Epstein files, who's there? Trump, Clinton, Gates, Chopra. You know what? Mick Jagger, at some point you're like, son of a... How can you hold anybody accountable if they've all done the same thing? You can look at Trump and say, well, you're a perverted individual. And then you look at all of the people around him who are all on the same list and saying, what is perverted? We do the same thing. We're not perverts. No. Yeah, well, where are you? We're still looking for our answers, but remember this. Deepak Chopra, Bart Ehrman, anybody across the board is only a deliverer of information. Your mind has to process it. The Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu, first verse. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. That's what he's doing. Talking. I'm going to tell you the answer. Not until you make it your own and interact with it is it the true Tao. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. What is the eternal Tao? Don't just sit there and go, okay, well, the Tao, you can't tell it. It's done. No, think it through. The Tao that is taken, personally taken. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. That's the blind leading the blind. They will all fall into the pit. I'm going to tell you what to do. And here's, when I get done, how do you feel? How's your life? How are all those things that happened to you in the past? The times you were molested, raped, beat, hurt, told what a piece of shit you are. Beaten down and you're just struggling in life. At what point in time does me talking make that feel better? It never does. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The healing that is simply talked of is not going to do the job. You have to take the trip yourself. This is a personal mental trip. What does that mean? We're not following these people. We're looking for information. I got no respect for Deepak, and I lost respect. Honestly, when the list came out, I was not at all surprised. I'd listened to Deepak early on, and there was another guy in The Secret. And he got in trouble. He actually went to jail and lost his money. The DVD, The Secret, remember that, where they're talking about, oh gosh, I can't remember this guy's name. Let me get this together. All right, I looked it up. It was the James Arthur Ray guy, and he went on after The Secret. They all made the potential for success after that DVD came out. That all of their careers grew tremendously, and he was doing seminars. Find the power within yourself, and he had a bunch of people come from all over the place, paying thousands of dollars, $10,000 a piece or something like that for a weekend. I don't know that price. It was exorbitant amount of money for many people to come in. That's a chunk of change right there coming in. And they had some, like the hot, like Native American sort of sweat lodge sort of thing. And they had it too hot and some people died. And he ended up, some of the people that worked with him testified that he was, he got so full of himself. He was saying things like, kind of thought of himself as God in some cases. He was just got this really big power trip. And he ended up going to jail, losing his money, told he can never work in the self-help community again. He spent a year in jail. James Arthur Ray, the guy in the DVD. And he's out now. I don't know what he's doing. And I don't recall what he said on the DVD, but there were some things he said on there that you would listen to and go, that's very true. That's a true thing. The fact that he himself knew the information and failed and took on the human greed part is very common. And we see that happening in a lot of people. Wealthy ministers and things like that, they're all, they're not there they're not living in $1 million mansions and flying private jets because they care about your soul. That's something different going on. It's kind of obvious. All right. So where does that leave us? I mean, I'm not going to go purchase anything from Deepak ever again, but I had not for many years. I think, make sure in this DVD to separate. Early on is when he seemed okay to me, but there was a change. There was a decay, and I quit listening to him. At this point, listening to this, I was empty-minded, very simple, going down the rabbit hole, listening to 7 Laws of Success. But when you get done listening to the 7 Laws of Success and you continue to study and you find the 7 Hermetic Principles, you begin to realize that these guys are all pulling from the same pool, all the way back to 7 days creation in Genesis, or the 7 tablets of creation from the Babylonians. There's a pattern that's happening there that's all along. So I recognize what he's doing, and I understand that his verbiage is like a different way of teaching this, or a different way of teaching something else in a different language that's more modern, that's more mentally interactive. The fact that he became a wacko freak and just was concerned about wealth and ego and all kinds of other stuff does not negate the fact that he had some information that is true information. For yourself, you have to understand to separate something. There are people that have said good things that went bad, that still the information is the right information, even though they didn't abide by it. I know what to do sometimes, and I don't do it. I drink too much wine. I know I should stop drinking it. But every night I go, yeah, what the hell? I'll have some more wine. There's things that I'm not in control of in my own life, but I see it going along, and I'm existing with it. It's okay. I'll give into it, and the next day I go, I really need to quit. Then I give into it. Yeah. All right. So that's pretty simple. It's not the same thing. And I'm not trying to justify anything from anybody. I'd never give any of my money anymore to anybody that's a teacher, because I now have the capacity to read from the original masters. I don't need that go-between. I don't need somebody who's making a profit telling me what the masters are saying and putting it in their own language. I can read from the masters and say, I don't need you teachers. I got this now. That's what we're working for. We're looking for our own understanding, and we have to utilize what we have available, and being careful to understand that if somebody turns out to be a jerk like you didn't think they would be, yeah, we're evolving humans here, aren't we? We are. But it doesn't mean that the Book of Secrets, unlocking the secrets of the dimension of your life, of, ways of looking at things and understanding how you came about, those are all true and very important, regardless of whether or not that teacher later on said, you know what, I'm so big and famous and wealthy, I can do whatever I want to now. You can't let your own brain do that. I'm the kind of person that's like, non-monetized channel. I don't want to make money off of that. I don't think that that's the true thing. But the true path really is your inner path. You can't listen to somebody else and say, okay, they've got the answer. I'm going to listen to them, and I'm going to listen and look up to and respect that individual. They're just somebody pointing the way. That's it. They found a way, and yeah, I think Deepak found a way, but then Deepak understood something else too. The life is life, and death is death. Maybe that's why it's being maintained as true, Christianity, despite the fact that there's no doubt in my mind, higher-ups know that it's all manufactured, man-made, it's all monomyth. I recognize it. I recognize the mythology of Jesus. But what happens to a bunch of people that if they don't believe there's anything beyond here? I mean, we're already over-evolving, and there's problems that come from the Abrahamic belief system that is tribal, that thinks that God put them here as a chosen one, which psychologically to them is an instant demonization of other people. When chips hit the fan, it's like, you know what, you're not God's chosen, you're the bad people. It's like permission to go kill sits right there in the religion. And there's no other religions like that, like Abrahamic, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, all three. You guys are sisters. Well, Christianity and Islam, you're sisters, but you're daughters of Judaism. And Judaism emerged from the Babylonians. It morphed. Chapter 1 through 11, they don't even have it figured out yet that God is only one. They still mention God in plural 4 times. Let us. We'll create them in our image. There are references in there. Let us go down and destroy the city of Babel, all the way up to chapter 11. It was still morphing from Babylon. It's man-made, but it's being used to control people. Yet at the same time, it is now, it's how good is it controlling Christianity if there are thousands of different denominations that don't even agree? Some are extremely liberal and some are extremely conservative. What the hell is religion at that point? It's just people. using this as a mental justification to feel better and to kill you. Because it's right here. This is my belief. Well, not everybody that exercises it believes that way. It depends on the way your brain works. We evolved that way. Anyway, okay, well, I don't know how much I need to keep going on here. I think it gets too deep. I am not at all. Oh, my God. No defense at all. Deepak, I hope this is karma. Although, what is karma? Karma is something that you yourself experience emotionally. Trump's karma is what? He has no shame. He will not experience hurt as a result. He's going to have to be told you're a piece of shit from people outside to the degree that, that it hurts his feelings. He's a baby. In many ways. Well, all right. I guess I don't want to wander around too much. I got a few issues here, obviously, but I wanted to say on that Deepak one, I saw a video recently where somebody said, you know what, I've just lost it completely. Who can we listen to anymore? These people have been promoted and we look up to them. And what I want to say is that there's at some point you have to understand yourself that you're not looking for Hollywood figures on TV, Oprah Winfrey, to point to people as the people that you should listen to. You really need to listen to the information and engage with it. That's what all of this is about, isn't it? Going down rabbit holes. I certainly have. I've gone and studied things. Is it possible that the Egyptians couldn't have built the pyramids? And once you work through all of this stuff, you realize no, you get it figured out. So there's nothing wrong with going down the rabbit holes. How else are you going to learn? You can't just sit there and expect somebody to come and give you the one right answer. You better go explore and learn and absorb and figure it out and ask questions till you go, okay, yeah, that fell apart all of a sudden. I'm going to go somewhere else. Thanks for your time. You go find a different rabbit hole until you learn that one, and you continue to do that until you find answers. So you got to go down those rabbit holes. But you see people stuck there. And a rabbit hole is everything from a flat earth to Christianity, honestly. Those are rabbit holes you get in and you will not, people don't come out. A few do. A few come out. A few ask enough questions to go, yeah, this fell apart. But there's some that people don't want to question. The Christian one, they don't want education. They don't want to question it. They don't want to engage with it in any way that is outside of their doctrinal. This is hinged upon fear and death right here. Don't touch this. This is fear. This is death. I will not talk to you. You're talking about my death. That's not what is thought. That's not what's talked about at all. But you have to understand that's what's in the background. A Christian belief is a belief that I will never die. We're all aware of death. It's existential fear. So when you start taking away Christianity, you're taking away the drugs necessary, the psychological drugs that are necessary to feel better. So you're going to get opposition. You're going to get people that don't like it. Why? You're taking away their heroin. All right. Well, the answer exists not in the mind of a human, but in the energy of the cosmos. We are parts of that. We're downstream versions of something. We're complex. We're still from there. We have all of these psychic experiences and things, but we're all connected. We're all from the same field. We're all from the same sources. We're all sharing a field that we exist within, and we get these light experiences and thoughts and things happening that make us go, there it is, there's the supernatural. It didn't happen in the five senses. It was in the sixth sense, therefore it's supernatural. When it's there, most of what is in the universe is outside of the physical, our perception anyway. That little bit that we feel there that's outside through our central nervous system that comes into our brain through kind of the back door, as it were. It's not supernatural. It's natural. We all do that. You don't need to believe in God or angels or demons or anything like that. To understand how it works, understand that it's natural. You want to interact with it, stop calling it angels, demons, and God. There's something else going on that you need to interact with mentally. And as long as you continue thinking it's a supernatural entities out there, you don't understand that you're viewing things through the filtration of your own perceptions, and that is where we need to go to change the screen of life. What is the energy that we're projecting our life experiences coming through? This mass, this bundle, the mote in the eye. the ought against the brother, that which keeps us from being poor in spirit. When Buddha tells us to seek emptiness, it's the same thing. Get rid of that massive judgments, the hurt, the pain. Work through it. Figure out a way that you're not that victim. Healing process is difficult, but you have to do it. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. This is it. You have to do that in your own head. I'm hurt. I can't feel better. What am I going to do? I have to go look at that hurt. How do I do it? Where do I come from? Where do they come from? Where do my parents come from? Did it happen to them? They got beat. Did they just do this out of a vacuum? Am I part of a big chain? Am I part of like a drop in the ocean that just emerged where I am? And I have to get bigger than that. And I have to rise above that and look down and say, that's just where I came from. That's not who I am. It's where I am emerging from. And if I want to rise above it, I have to somehow find a way to separate myself from the emotional hurt and pain, because that's going to keep cycling in life. And in order to free it, I have to go back and revisit things I don't want to revisit until they're no longer hidden away, hurt. They are now in the open. They've been exposed. Go read the Gospel of Philip. Once as is the illustrated man, when the intestines are contained inside the man stands upright and lives. But when they're exposed, he dies. So it is with everything else in the world. As long as it's hidden, the roots of it stay hidden, it's strong. As long as you have these fears and you keep them buried away, they're going to be strong. To expose them, to talk about them, here, this happened, that happened, I'm this, I'm that. No, you're not. You're healing, working it through, exposing it. It dies. It ceases to be a monster once you make friends with it. But if you don't make friends with it, it's the monster you've made. We don't know that. Nobody tells us that. And it's hard to deal with that monster because it's part of our past experience. It's a perception that we went through, that I hate this because of that. And you have to change that perception. I no longer hate that. I have to look at it in such a way that that emotional charge changes, because that's the emotional charge that continues to find like charges in the. I mean, if I'm holding shame, I'm going to keep experiencing shame in life somehow. I have to get rid of this shame that I'm carrying, and then that shame ceases to happen. That's how that works, through the filtration of that, how life unfolds. Anyway, okay. So when it comes down to it, some of that information came from this stack of knowledge right here. What do? We keep looking for each other. We got to stop looking for our leaders. They've collapsed. They're not even paying attention anymore. How come nobody wants to hold them accountable? Shit, my name's on there too. Yeah, there you go. We don't have any leadership. We're on our own. Things are in motion. Civilization happens to be a mechanism in motion right now, but it's in the same way Trump has failed his businesses. He's going to fail. He's failing America in the same way. And he's diverting attention from his, Yeah, Deepak, I got no respect for you, but I respect the knowledge that you portrayed when you were being honest and straight up before you went off the deep end and started inventing the quantum physics creates this, reason why things appear when you look at them and all that kind of stuff. It's like, that's not even right at all. I watch videos where quantum physicists kind of told you, just leave it alone. You don't know what you're talking about. And then you told somebody, it's really a metaphor. That's not, you know what? That's not it. Yeah, I know what metaphors are. You were not using it as a metaphor. You're trying to say that quantum physics demonstrates that when you observe something, it appears. That's what you said. That's not a metaphor. That's a claim. All right. Anyway, all right, I don't know what I'm rambling on about here. I guess I just wanted to express that. As seekers out here, we should not have masters that we continually look up to. We need to become our own master. That's the way you go on the path. You become the seeking individual. You enter the narrow gate solitary. You are alone up here. You can be out here and learn what to do. I need to work on those. I just told you the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. What did I do? I explained what to do. Here's a memory. Here's a perception. You have to change the perception. There you go. I just told you the Tao. This is the path. This is how you heal. Did it heal you? Nope. The way to heal is yours personal. Not until you go, okay, I see what to do. That's the right thing to do, but it's not my eternal. It does nothing for me. It's just knowing what to do. Am I going to do it now? Am I going to sit down and close my eyes and go back to that memory and think it through and work on it and address it if I have to, if I can, with the person, whatever it takes to make that perception go away so that the experience isn't going to repeat itself anymore? That right there is the only time it becomes the eternal Tao. You make it yours. Fuck these teachers. They might have knowledge, but they're still humans that are going to go around and act like nothing matters. They're not better than us. They're just passing along information in new verbiage and more modern verbiage. Old information. And then they're acting like, yeah, whatever anyway. So it's up to us. And it's up to we can read the Tao Te Ching. We can read the Dhammapada. We can read the Sermon on the Mount. We don't have to listen to somebody tell us what it means because they don't know. They sure the hell don't. Look at the way they live. This is an example of what I speak. There's Buddha, Lao Tzu, and Jesus. 3 verses that all are going to tell us the same thing. 3 identical masters, however they're telling us in their own local cryptic verbiage. Local cryptic verbiage. That's not universal cryptic verbiage, it's local cryptic verbiage. Buddha, if a man speaks or acts with pure thought, happiness follows him like a shadow that never leaves him. Pure thought means an empty mind. Speaks or acts with pure thought. Free from desire, you realize the mystery, Lao Tzu. Free from desire, free from hanging on to things. What did Buddha say? Pure thought. This is free from desire, free from the mental desire. You realize the mystery of life. If you have pure thought, happiness follows. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. You're letting go of things. You are releasing things. Jesus says it this way, blessed are the poor in spirit, for yours is the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is now. The kingdom of heaven is within, and poor in spirit is what? What is your spirit? Your spirit is comprised of your bundle of memories. That's what we live through. You need to be poor in spirit, devoid of that bundle of judged memories, free from desire, pure thought, free from desire, poor in spirit. Same thing, empty and devoid of your judgments, the things that happen in life that make you go, oh, son of a bitch, I hate this and hate that. And you have to resolve all those things. And then what happens? Happiness follows. You realize the mystery of life. Yours is the kingdom of heaven within. Like that. All right. See you in the next video.